Warden of Icerack. It's a fancy title. In theory, it means I'm responsible for maintaining law and order, collaborating with the Sapphire Conclave on magical crimes, and protecting the weak from all manners of nasty things. In practice, I help farmers fix fences, so I decided to go on a little sabbatical. Besides, I couldn't stay in Icerack. It's cold, it's boring, and I heard my sister was planning on visiting, so I definitely had to get the hell out of there. Unlike Lena, I like to try to find solutions that don't involve killing everyone.
Most people are content eking out an existence. Eat, work, copulate, sleep. This cycle continues ad nauseum, yielding useless children that are raised by their useless parents to have useless purposes in life. But I am not most people. I am a man of vision. My daughters are creations of purpose. And together, we will spread a delicious poison across this countryside, purging it of weakness and stupidity. I like to take time when placing my creations, ensuring that each of my daughters has a chance to blossom into what they are destined to become. But sometimes, I'm seized with inspiration and tend to my work faster than normal. My daughters are beautiful in design and purpose. To see them spread their poison is a wonder to behold.
I am a woman of my word. I promised my mother that I would find a way to fix my frail body, and I found salvation in the Dire. In exchange, I promised the Dire a mighty army, and here you stand. And on the day we built this citadel, I promised I would give you a purpose. And you have found it in the glory of battle and the honor of serving the Dire. I am a woman of my word, and today I make a new promise. Soon, Prelix's body will be crushed in the rubble of her false god, and on that day you will be rewarded beyond all measure. There's something particularly satisfying about watching Radiant Zealots run for their lives. They smell blood, but what they track is fear.
I empathize with Rix. It's not easy following the orders of a leader you despise. But I don't have the luxury of staging a rebellion. The stakes are too high, and so I must bide my time and wait to be reunited with my beloved. I dedicated my life to the pursuit of the mystic arts. But while my head was buried in books, my beloved was betrayed and cast out of the ghastly Eyrie. I was unable to save her then, but at least I have the power to save her now.
I care little for the affairs of mortals. I have no stake in the war between the Red Mist and the Bronze Legion. And the plight of the Vul does little to stir my blood. What I do care about, however, is that charlatan Storm Spirit, claiming my lightning as his own. And so, I travel to Roseleaf, to prove that there is no god of lightning above me. The full brunt of my fury is something beautiful and terrible to behold.
My existence shouldn't be. I was not born of a mother, but from a rock. And yet I was carved by no artisan. No, I willed my consciousness into being. For so long I walked alone, confused. But that all changed when I met Kana. I was rudderless, and she gave me direction. I was ignorant of the ways of man, and she gave me understanding. I was alone in this world, and she gave me companionship. But above all, she gave me a name, and a sense of self. Once I called myself Rygor Stonehoof. But she has given me a new name that is far more fitting. Earthshaker. Pelix is raising an army to destroy her daughter. But I won't allow that to happen. Let them come in droves. No one will get past me.
Brothers and sisters, the Ancient is coming. With every passing day, my visions grow stronger. A violet sky, a sundered moon, and an ancient voice that whispers, "Prepare for my arrival." Prepare. Such a simple word that does no justice to the work that lies before us. We must be heralds, walking testimonies to the benevolence of the Ancient, spreading the word of its glorious arrival, no matter if that message is received with joy or scorn. We must be architects, building not just this monastery for those who believe what I have seen, but an entire world that is worthy of the ancient splendor. We must be zealots, willing to lay down our lives in defense of this sacred space. Because rest assured, we are at war. Kana and her heretics will stop at nothing to undo the work that we have accomplished. And that is why we must return in kind. More of the faithful come by the day, and they will need a home to house them.
The people I lead are small in number but vast in potential, and I will not see them slaughtered as the forest burns. The time has come for us to leave our ancestral home, and so I will lead my tribe to Weeping Rose. There, our magics will be celebrated, not feared. Sometimes the simplest of spells can be the most effective.
The dire child has begun to come into her own. She will need guidance, molding. She has chosen the beast to be her champion, but I shall be her seneschal, and eventually, her master. For me, the void is a place of reflection and peace. But to my enemies, it is a realm of inscrutable horror.
I'm not gonna lie, life's been a little rough. I was on a tear playing the Couriers in White Spire, when all of a sudden, I hit a cold streak. It happens. We figure we were due for a win, so we go to Mama Eve and take out a marker. Based on past dealings, Eve's not too keen to let us borrow the money, so we give her Meepo 3 as collateral. We go back to the track, and well, look, I can't stress enough how cold the Couriers were that day. We have a team meeting and decide it's not fair that Meepo 3 gets his legs broken because a short thing fell through. So I go to the Jasper Circle and get a loan to pay Eve and get Meepo 3 back. But now we're in it with the Jasper Circle, so we really don't want to take any chances because Mama Eve will mess you up. Lazan will straight up kill you. So we decide to do some odd jobs for the Ravenhooks and skim enough money up the top to be able to pay back the Jasper Circle. But that's when I realized that there's no way we could get cleaned out 3 times in a row. You're smart people. I think you can figure out where this is going. So, mistakes were made, and now we're back to where we started with the Jasper Circle debt. Only this time the Ravenhooks won't take us back because, you know, we robbed them. We're freaking out, pointing fingers, and that's when Meepo 3 sees a wanted poster for our old friend Maresca. Now, Lord Sunbreeze has put a huge bounty on his daughter that would cover the Jasper debt in spades. But A, Maresca's a friend, and more importantly, B, there was no way we'd get to her before Gondar did. So I come up with a new plan. Gondar will capture Maresca, we'll free Maresca, Maresca will owe us, and Maresca will keep the Jasper Circle from killing us. It's a perfect plan! What could go wrong?
Once I was like Sorla Khan, a warlord that did as she pleased. Strong and immortal, I knew that no man or beast was my equal. Until my hubris cost me everything. It was there, at my lowest, that Selemene found me, tested me, and showed me the moonlit path. Much time has passed since that day, and I find purpose and pride in protecting the Night Silverwoods with other members of the Dark Moon. But word has spread of Sorla Khan's march, and while we have never met, I understand her all too well. And so I travel to Roseleaf to defeat her, and save her from herself. Selemene has rewarded my faith in her with terrible power, and I have taken a vow never to misuse it.
It's not easy being the smartest ogre in the world. There's lots of jealous people out there.
Think about how many people you know with one head.
I bet it's a lot.
Now realize that every single one of them is half as smart as us. Do you know how lonely it is to walk this earth, never finding an intellectual...
We like rocks!
Yes, we do.
I think we're probably the first person to figure out that fire can be used not just to cook meat, but also light people on fire.
If not the first, definitely in the top 5.
Soaring through the air is not just a liberating experience. It is also an effective way to dispatch one's enemies.
The holdings of Riftel are vast, and so the merchant kings rely on wild winged messengers to communicate between the capital and our lands.
My mother speaks of the ancients' desires. Order, peace, devotion. But she's wrong. The ancients demand one thing, and that's blood.
Kana's forces are always a threat. We must remain vigilant.
The best way to survive in this world is knowing who you can shove in front of the town guard so you can make a quick getaway.
The dead are rising in Roseleaf Nog. Someone took the oath.
Mareska likes the long con. Me, I like to shake things up and see what happens.
Pierpont always warns me about dabbling with things you don't understand. And most of the time he's being a sanctimonious bastard. Unfortunately, sometimes he's right. Well, mostly right. I mean, I've never died permanently. You know, now that I think about it, he's basically always just being a sanctimonious bastard.
I respect the Klazarim Treaty, and the human wizard who helped broker it. As such, I would never rewrite time for my own amusement. However, I think it's healthy to remind the Sapphire Conclave what I am capable of, lest they grow complacent and fail to live up to their end of the bargain.
Be grateful you only annoyed me, mortal. Had you offended me, the result would be far more interesting.
There's a lot of things you can say about my sister. Most of them revolve around her being a rage-filled arson machine.
Prelix's army grows larger by the day. For now they're disorganized, but I know my mother. It won't take long before they're a threat. Some are fit to rule. Most live to obey.
It doesn't happen often, but every now and again a wizard is allowed to leave the Tyler estate. Though when they do, they are irreparably changed.
Our defenses are strong, but not impenetrable. Fortunately, our towers tend to ward off all but the most determined.
The worst part of meeting up with Zeus is the posturing we have to go through before we have a serious conversation.
Pierpont and I don't agree on a lot of things, but he was wise to recognize the dangers of angering the Faceless Void. I'm not super wild about the Clazorim Treaty. Chronomancy was a lot of fun, but you know what's also fun? Not having your timeline obliterated.
What if I told you that most aren't fit to lead? That to rule effectively, you need to be willing to keep secrets from your own people, and that sentimentality makes you unable to make the right decisions when stakes are high. If what I said rings true to you, perhaps you should walk the path of the wise.
The coin of man is useless to me, but instrumental in their own undoing.
Where we come from, when an ogre wants something, they tend just to kill whoever's holding it.
But since we couldn't exactly do that, we invented a process of giving and taking items without murder.
It's like sharing.
But better, because we came up with it.
The Oracle claims to see every eventuality. If true, such a man could be a powerful ally, or at the very least, a foe worth testing myself against.
Rubik claims to be Aghanim's son. I'm not sure I believe it, but I certainly wouldn't say that to Rubik's face.
Chronicling Axis adventures has taken me to lots of interesting places. First it was scary, but eventually you get used to a certain level of baseline terror.
It doesn't matter where the battle rages. The Radiant will always stand up to the horrors the Dire bring.
I would go so far to say that there are some places that even the Jasper Circle can't reach. Just that sometimes courting betrayal is significantly easier.
Aghanim is the greatest wizard of all time. There is no question, there is no debate. No one is his equal. So when he vanished one day, we never wondered how. We wondered why. Some say he feared for his life and ran into hiding, but I don't believe that for a second. You ask me. Aghanim is working on something. Something important. Something that will change the world.
We may sort of hate each other, but at the end of the day, if I was going to war, I'd want her on my side.
Power, immortality, revenge. These are the three biggest reasons people seek mastery of the arcane arts. But they are not my reasons. I pursue magic because it makes anything possible. And if anything is possible, then hope, no matter how remote, can never die.
There is no place to hide from the wrath of the Dire.
It is a nasty world out there, and when a non-trivial percentage of it would like to see you dead, you learn to take certain precautionary measures.
The Red Mist Horde is just the beginning. Another force is coming. I felt it in the winds and seen it in the bones. Something dark, something seductive, something evil. If we don't prepare for its arrival, it will certainly consume us all.
It is wise to fear the power of the ancients.
Friends always let you down.
In Klazarim, time is like water, nourishing, beautiful to behold in its various forms, and endlessly fun to play in.
The purist in me hates how much techies rely on explosives. But you can't deny they're effective.
Zeus destroyed a building, so I destroyed an army. I thought the matter was settled, but then he decided to go throw a temper tantrum and crater a city.
Like any mother, I've had to watch as harm befalls my children, hoping that by not intervening, they would learn how to navigate this cruel and unfeeling world. But sometimes the cries of my beloved are too loud for me not to answer.
Some mistake my taking on the mortal coil as a sign that I have grown weaker. So every now and again, I like to remind the world that that isn't the case. Now, my wife would say that cratering a city is overkill. She's probably right. But I've always been a fan of grand gestures.